Good evening, welcome to Borough Fan TV and the third half with me, James Hutchinson. Tonight joining me in the studio are John Putson and Derek Duval. Welcome to the show. You alright, Derek? Sorry, I had to get that in. That's what about Craig. Welcome to the show, lads. We're going to talk about the amazing work that the Borough Walkers do across Teesside and some of your upcoming events over the course of the summer and how some of you people out there can get involved as well. We're also going to chat about Borough's last two fixtures in this rollercoaster season, from the lows and the disappointment of Sheffield United to the highs and that vital victory over Bristol City at the Riverside on Saturday that's now put the Borough in fifth with only 3 games remaining, so the playoffs are still on. There's another huge match at the weekend as well when we go to Pride Park to play Derby County. So get in touch with us Borough fans with any of your views and opinions. Also any memories of any previous games with Derby, whether that's been at the baseball ground or at Pride Park. We'd welcome any of them. We'll have a chat about them as well. So firstly, lads, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Cheers, James.
Borough Walkers Association was set up, was it 2013?
2013, James, yeah.
Yeah.
It was Pete Livo and Paul Randall initially got together and thought about doing something for the Multiple Sclerosis Society.
Right.
They chose to go big style in walking Adrian's Wall, 84 miles of it.
Starting off nice and easy,
yeah. I think they found it a sort of tough feat.
Yeah.
Literally in terms of feet. Just getting the jokes in there to start, James.
All right.
And obviously, you know, in completing that and thinking they were going to raise 1,500 quid, they actually rose in excess of £12,000 that first year, which was fantastic. Yeah. And just from there, they decided to go and try it again with a larger number. And just from there, it's kind of took off with various events we've done since. Right.
And Derek, in terms of like numbers of charities and what type of charities have benefited over across Teesside in the last 5 years, can you give us some sort of idea?
So importantly, firstly, touching on the point there, it is about Teesside and Teesside charities. That first year, what they found was that the MS Society was spread across the nation as opposed to being on Teesside. You know, so as part of our constitution, it's important that it's Teesside charities. In excess of 30 organisations have benefited from the Borough Walkers in the intervening years.
Fantastic.
And it just goes from strength to strength.
Yeah. And like I said at the top of the show there, Borough Walkers have got events through the year, going on throughout the year. Can you give us like an example of some of those that are happening, Derek, this year, what you've got coming up?
So obviously 2018 is well underway. There's a number of the lads that are in training for some of the events. The 27th of May, we've got our annual Borough Walkers Charity Shield football tournament.
Right.
That takes place at Gisborough Football Club. We've got 6 teams participating in that event. Fantastic event, and encourage all Borough fans to come down and support the day.
There's other things going on as well there during the day as well.
There's loads of activities. We have bouncy castles and that, you know, so children activities as well as the football taking place.
Bro.
We have an evening event with a band coming along.
Fantastic.
You know, so great day, great event. So get along and support us.
Yeah, brilliant. And like we said earlier as well, when it started off with the walks, lads, it's not just in terms of a financial commitment, it's also a physical one, because a lot of lads are putting in a lot of training. I see regularly there's like groups going out for walks every week out there by the barrage and so doing training. So there's a lot of Teessides like they're completing like sponsored walks. Is it a 20-mile sponsored walk from Whitby to Saltburn? Is that later in the year?
So our annual event now is the Whitby to Saltburn walk, James. We did that for the first time last year. It's 20 mile. We had 100 walkers last year that participated in our event. We're hoping to make it bigger and better this year. We're encouraging as many people to participate as they can. Training events, you're right, Wednesdays and Sundays typically we're out either by the barrage or out on the hills walking, and as many people to participate as possible.
So not only doing good actually for other people, you're also like helping yourself as well. It's good stuff.
We're even hoping to encourage John to get out more often.
I do the home and away fixture. Home is when they do the walk around the barrage. That's on the Wednesdays, and the away is a tough fixture.
You make sure everyone looks good, don't you, with all the gear and that.
It is. It's up the steep hills and mountains. It's tough.
So how can Borough supporters that are watching this programme tonight, lads, how can they help the Borough Walkers? What can they do to support the Borough Walkers?
So first of all, they can join the site. So we have in excess of 7,500 Borough Walkers on the Borough Walker Association Facebook page. You know, that's the entryway into getting to find out more about the Borough Walkers. And then just by getting involved, coming along and participating, they can then get involved in the actual events. You know, we welcome anybody to come along. We're also supporting MFC Foundation with a walk this year,
Good stuff.
which is on the 20th of May.
Yeah.
We're walking from Rockcliffe to the Riverside Stadium.
Right.
That's with Diane O'Connell.
Yeah.
And pretty much follows the route of the Teesdale Way.
Right, very good. So plenty of challenges there, isn't there? We've got
Yeah.
plenty of good walks going on. I know there's a few people doing the Great North Run as well, isn't it? September.
So we've got the Great North Run in September.
Yeah.
Prior to that, we've got the Fan Dance. I don't know if you've heard of the Fan Dance, James, which is the famous Brecon Beacons where the SAS train. There's 30 borough walkers going and participating in doing a gruelling 14-mile challenge for the second year.
That sounds hard work.
Carrying weight on the back as well. So it's tremendous.
Yeah.
There'll also be a big fan dance when we reach the playoffs as well, won't there?
Absolutely.
Oh, we'll get onto that in a minute. It's, I know there's one or two people which are sceptical out there about us making the playoffs, but yeah, I think that'll be, first of all, just get to the playoffs and then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, I mean, Borough Walkers, absolutely amazing organisation. I mean, we all know that we live in a part of the country that's often overlooked. So I think it's crucial that people out there, you support this fantastic organisation. They fight our corner and they are putting people from Teesside, putting them first, which not many people in this country do. So make sure you support them. It's great work you do, lads.
James.
Well done. So we'll get on to the Borough now. We'll have to talk about them. Much has been made, John, this season about it being up and down. And I think the last week more or less sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? First, the Sheffield United game on Tuesday. And that was like a rerun of so many games we've had this year, particularly away from home, I think, against promotion rivals. It wasn't impressive, was it?
Story of the season, summed it up.
Yeah.
Especially with Sheffield United when it was a must-win game against a team who were in the top half, teams who we struggled to beat all season. Sheffield proved a tough test. Didn't help with Ledbetter being sent after 20 minutes, mountain the clam after that.
I think we were talking on the show last week, and you knew before the game what was going to happen. They were going to come out flying at us because it was a must-win game for them. And it seemed as though, for all everybody had those fears about that's what was going to happen, the players didn't seem prepared for it at all. And do you think that's a fair...
I don't know if it's a case that the players weren't ready for it or prepared for it. You know, I think John touched on a good point with the Grant sending off.
Yeah.
You know, a player that experience, it's about discipline.
Yeah.
You know, it's about understanding the circumstance, the situation, and not letting your teammates down in that environment.
They're experienced enough to know Ledbetter is,
Yeah.
surely. And we're not the best team to come flying out the traps.
No.
Never.
And I don't think there's any arguments about the sending off either, was there? I mean, I know they were probably the only two fouls he did, but there were yellow cards, both of them, weren't there?
I think the argument is he was silly.
Yeah.
You know, in that situation, you expect better from somebody of Ledbetter's experience.
Yeah. So we went down to 10 men, 2 goals down, not looking good. I know at half time I was thinking this could be any year, second half. Yet second half they came out and performed quite well with 10 men. There was plenty of effort and they controlled the game for large parts. And there was some good contributions. Some lads came off the bench and did well, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Clayton especially, who for me this season has been crab-like in when he's got the ball. He doesn't have the ability to look forward. It's more sideways. But played a different role, which roll his sleeves up, get stuck in, and he come up with some credit. I think he got man of the match for that. But it was too little, too late. I think the damage was done in the first half anyway.
I think that sort of game or that sort of role suits him down to the ground. I think if you're looking for creative things from him, you're not going to sort of get it, are you? Yeah. But in terms of getting your foot in and keeping things solid, he'll do that all day long. And he's someone that sort of does divide a little bit of opinion. I think some fans are thinking, home games, I don't know if we'd play him because he doesn't offer us enough creativity. But he does add some solidity to that side, doesn't he, Derek? Yeah,
he does. Yeah, and listen, he's been around a number of years, James, and you know I think he was proven as one of the better players in the Championship a number of years ago. Yeah, he certainly can do it from a defensive perspective. John's right, creativity-wise and getting forward. You know that's not his forte.
Yeah.
You know, and in fairness, that's probably something we probably lack at the Borough in the middle of the park at the minute.
Yeah. And another one that came in from the cold the other night, Fabio. I haven't seen him for about 3 or 4 months, and he came on there, and again he contributed, didn't he, John?
Surprised Fabio coming on. I thought he disappeared from the club. Made a telling contribution. So he does have them surging runs in him, providing assists. So it was a case of everyone knuckling down, rolling the sleeves up and see what they could grab second half, which was a consolation goal. A few chances
it was
different day, could have went in.
Yeah, could have done. I mean, in fairness, I think maybe we were expecting a bit too much. They went 2-0 down, got one back early in the second half. Didn't create too many more chances after that, but then in fairness, Sheffield United didn't make much either, did they? So, I mean...
We do huff and puff.
Yeah.
When backs against the wall, we're 2-1 down or whatever, we do struggle to try and break teams down. It is more a case of huff and puff than trying to actually play football, which you know yourself, we're not the best at doing.
Yeah.
So,
I think any team, once you're 2 goals down, James, you're up against it. Particularly if they put two banks of 4 behind the ball.
Yeah.
You know, John's right, you know, in terms of the Borough, you know, and trying to split them 2 banks of 4, you know, defence split and pass between the 2 centre-halves, whatever it may be. Yeah. We don't have that vision, that ability, that flair.
But it was funny, like Sheffield United, you sort of sensed their fans were getting on their players' backs in the second half because they were getting nervy and agitated because they couldn't seem to hold onto the ball. They weren't making any chances. I mean, they were quite impressive in the first half. I mean, we were equally bad. But I think their fans were starting to get nervy, and it's sometimes a case of you just have to do what you can to see the job through, don't you? And they did that on Tuesday, didn't they?
They did.
So we lost that one. Then took us to a massive game then Saturday, which really, arguably, was a must-win game. And it didn't start off too well again, did it, against Bristol City, John?
Again, slope the traps. Bristol City been struggling as of late as well. They're just behind us in the table. Yeah. Getting the first goal, I thought, here we go again. When we go a goal down, we struggle to sort of get the momentum to get equalise it and then to go on to win the game, which surprised me, which I don't think has happened much this season. Maybe off the top of my head, that's probably the only one I can think where we come from behind. Pressing away, but that result at home was defining in the season. It's probably one of the most important results of the season. Yeah, because we leapfrog above Derby County as well. In the 5th.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and that's it. It doesn't matter how you get there now. It's just about being in those playoff places, isn't it? Yeah. And then obviously, Derek. I mean, goals on Saturday. George Friend, Daniel Ayala. It's sort of like a Tony Pulis thing. He likes his defenders to contribute with goals, doesn't he? From set pieces. It's 3-3 now for Ayala. But you can see the work that's going in there on the training ground with set pieces, can't you?
I think you can, and it's evident from the manner in which, like, long throws now straight in the box where we can possibly do that. Yeah. Get your big men up front, get them up there up top. Yeah. Ayala, it's with his feet at the minute rather than with his head. Yeah. Because typically you expect it with the head, you know. But they're getting forward. They're contributing. Yeah. And let's push on now with the final few games. Yeah. Because
he is a threat in the penalty area, isn't he, Ayala? He always has been. You always worry your heart in the mouth a bit when it's corners and stuff, when we're defending him, because you see he's grabbing hold of people and you think, he's going to get pulled up. But so far, hopefully that doesn't happen in the next few games. I know 1 or 2 people have commented on here. I know Connor Suttle's been in touch, and 1 or 2 other people, just about concerns with Patrick Bamford and his fitness. I mean, it looked quite nasty that on Saturday, didn't it?
It looked very serious at one point.
Yeah.
12, I think 11 minutes injury time, which it tells you that it looked serious, but it seems like he went to hospital, got the all clear, he was back laughing and joking at the end of the game, which Ed-wise, he's okay. I'm guessing the rest of him is going to be fine for the last 3 games and hopefully the playoffs as well, and the final, don't forget. Yeah.
I know, because Tony Pulis apparently gave him a bit of stick when he went back to the changing room and said what you've been so soft about and this, that and the other. But like I said, it did look really serious at one point, and I know now Pulis is talking about he'll be available for Saturday, which
should be.
is a bonus, really, isn't it?
I think the beauty about it is he's on fire at the minute. He's enjoying his football again. Yeah. You know, the last thing he wants to be is missing games. So he'll put every concerted effort into being available this weekend.
Yeah, he needs to be. I think all players now will be. They know there's going to be 3 minimum, hopefully.
Big games, aren't they, John?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Cup finals, as they say.
Yeah,
really.
Cliche, yeah.
There's a big prize at the end of it, and as we all know.
Well, that's again, we need to be there. Yeah. And again, another big shout out to Clayton, because again, I thought he played really well on Saturday. I know we said earlier on about away games, and maybe when you're on the back foot a little bit, he works hard. But I thought on Saturday he did very well against Bristol City. Do you think he's now earned a place in the starting, or do you think Ledbetter will come in on Saturday?
It's a frustrating season for Clayton and supporters alike watching when I don't like to see the Ledbetter-Clayton combination. I just think it sends out the wrong signals in an attacking sense. Yeah. Given the fact that Ledbetter's missing through suspension, Clayton's come in and he rolled his sleeves up midweek. Sheffield got the result Saturday. You know, I think he's going to be full of confidence again. Knowing that he'll be in the same spot come Saturday's game as well. Against a must-win game.
What's your views on that, Derek? Like the Ledbetter-Clayton situation?
I think John's right in what he's saying, James. You know, it doesn't give a lot of offer going forward. Having said that, I think Clayton deserves his spot in the team. It will be interesting to see what Pulis's views are on that and whether he brings Grant back in. You know, but for me, Clayton should be starting this weekend. Because
here's some argument that some people are saying 2 years ago maybe that was their best spell and they were maybe at the actual peak then when we got promoted 2 years ago as a partnership. To still have them playing together now is maybe a little bit of a step backwards. Do you think that's a fair point, or do you think being harsh on the lads there? I mean, they've both been good servants to the club.
Well, 2 years ago, you know, the same players got us up there, full of energy, because it was a decent season that we got promoted. So I'm thinking 2 years on, led bit of age a little bit. Clayton, you know, they were part of the team that took us down there, and they were part of the team that's trying to get us back up there. But in all honesty, it has been a bit of a struggle, I think, with them two. And they could probably say the same, that it could have been a better season for them, for each of them. And
Bristol City, we'll just touch on them for a moment. I mean, what did you make of their performance? I think they're a little bit similar to us in a way. I know they had a really good start of the season, but it seems as though they've become very inconsistent. Were you surprised how they played on Saturday?
I think middle part of the season they looked on fire, didn't they? And particularly when the cup game, when they beat Man U as well.
That's right,
you know, they have gone backwards a little bit. Some teams do tend to falter towards the back end of the season. And they seem to be struggling sort of with the pace going forward that they showed earlier on.
No,
it's
fair point.
Similar to what Middlesbrough have done this season. It's the inconsistency where you go on a good run and then you go off the boil, and it's just what's happened to Bristol City as of late.
And that's a key to the Championship, isn't it? I think a lot of these lads are good footballers, but they're playing in the Championship because that's it. They're inconsistent, aren't they, in the performance? If they were up there every week, they would be playing Premier League football, arguably. But I know I've got 1 point here from Joe Scott. He thinks 2 wins out of 3 will get us into the playoffs. Do you think that'll be enough? We've got 6 points from here, John.
Against Derby and Millwall. Absolutely, I think you beat them 2, you're in. Ipswich probably might not have much at stake. Well, let's just hope that when it comes to the Ipswich game, it can be the party atmosphere because we're already in the playoffs. Which I think is going to take something catastrophic now, not for us not to enter that top 6 and stay in that top 6.
Do you reckon, Derek?
It's in our own hands, isn't it, James? It's down to ourselves. Derby's a massive game this weekend. Millwall, you know, huge. You know, I think importantly going into that final game, if we do need points from that final game, it could be a toughie. Because Ipswich, you know, they're in the mid-table situation. Well, they can just come out and play football. If we have to go for it, that's sometimes when we are weaker. And we struggle.
It could be a winner takes all. Middlesbrough Millwall, a full house.
Lively. Half-5 kick-off.
Half-5 kick-off. A lot at stake. Millwall on a absolutely tremendous run at the moment. Really is no stopping 16, 17 games unbeaten. Hopefully we can you know, end their unbeaten run. And then we'll take the you know, the playoff spot.
Because I think arguably they're the team you wouldn't want to play in a minute, aren't they? Out the top 6. I know Fulham have been on an outstanding run, but they looked a bit wobbly against Brentford the other day. They weren't great. But Millwall just seems to be no stopping them at all. And they play Fulham on Friday night, which will be a big game.
Absolutely,
and then to come up there, that's going to be huge, that, isn't it?
I think importantly, all runs have to come to an end.
They've got to.
And also, if it doesn't come to an end this Friday, hopefully it's the Saturday after against us.
I mean, Jacob Ross has just touched on one there. He said about the 3 remaining games, which one might be the one that slip ups, and he said, I can actually see the Ipswich game being the one where we slip up, which... You know, like you said, I think last game of the season, they're at home. They won't want to go out there and put a performance where it looks like they're not bothered, will they?
No, they'll want to go out on a high in front of their own fans. You know, they can play the free-flowing football because there's nothing at stake. You know, if we have to go there...
Managerless as well.
And particularly, and we often see managerless teams, you know, they're the ones that produce a bit of form, aren't they? So it's... So it'll be interesting, but hopefully we don't need it. And we're there already.
That would be good. That would be ideal. So obviously this Saturday it's Derby, known as perennial bottle jobs, aren't they? Derby, it gets to like February, March every year, and they just seem to absolutely fall apart for whatever reason. And they came here in November, did us 3-0. I actually remember I was talking to Jimmy Lees after that game, and we were saying Ayala should never play for the Borough again because he got himself sent off that day. And it just seemed to fall apart for the Borough that day. Vidra, I think, got after it.
He did.
He did.
And at that stage, you would have thought they'd have been a decent shout for top 2. Why do you think it goes wrong for them every year, this sort of time of year, John?
Tricky question, that one. Teams get momentum at certain times of the season. It just seems that maybe Derby peaked when they did, and then they dropped off like Bristol City have. We certainly did. Teams the likes of Wolves, Aston Villa, Millwall didn't. And maybe at this moment in time that we've got that momentum now at the right time, and Derby, let's just say, in free fall and slipped out the playoffs, but they still got that game, one game in hand.
Yeah, they've got the Cardiff game after us.
The Cardiff game next week?
Yeah, Tuesday after us.
Right.
Yeah. So it's going to be huge that on Saturday, isn't it, Derek?
It will be, yeah. And I've got no doubt that, you know, them faltering and falling away and pretty much doing that season unseated, that'll play on their minds.
You're right.
You know what I mean? You know, that'll be in the back of their minds that this happens every year. Hopefully we can capitalise on that. And we can go and put a performance in and come away with 3 points.
Fingers crossed. I mean, it's something we haven't done very often this year, is go on the road and beat a direct rival. I mean, I know they're wobbling. Do you fancy us to get 3 points on Saturday, or do you think the key to it is just not to get beat? What do you think, Derek?
I think importantly, you know, you have to think, you know, we don't want to get beat. We don't want to concede an early goal as we've done recently, you know, because that does work against us, you know, even though we came back at the weekend. You know, so be solid, you know, and I think importantly, get the ball forward quickly. You know, and certainly get Trelaw in the game early on.
Put them under pressure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A draw would be this stage of the season. It keeps us above Derby and it keeps us ticking over. I think a draw would be, I'd happy with a point. Absolutely, over the moon with 3. Like everybody would be.
And I think that'd nearly eliminate them, wouldn't it?
That would put distance between us, Derby, and then the chasing pack.
So, and that's it, because you don't have to finish above all of them. Like I say, if Millwall happen to finish above us, we finish 6th, don't we? I mean, just a point here, Liam Cale's got in touch there. If we do finish in the top 6, which we can only finish really, I think, 5th or 6th now anyway. Who would you rather play in the playoffs? Would you rather play Cardiff, Fulham, Villa? They're all hot, tough, aren't they? What do you reckon, John?
Well, all 3 teams have done a job on us. They've, we haven't beat them this season. Cardiff have done the double. Aston Villa, I'm not sure what on that result. Again, it's just who turns up on the day, who's got the fire in the belly on the day. Home leg's important, making count. If you nick an away goal, again, it could be anybody. Really, I don't have any preference. It's just going to be equally as tough.
I don't think it really matters really in a way now whether you finish 3rd, 4th, 5th or 6th, does it? Once you're in there and it's a semi-final. It maybe would be nice to have second leg at home, but if you can get a good result in the home leg, it puts all the pressure on them going back to their own place, doesn't it, Derek?
It does, you know, and I think, listen, history tells us, you know, that being the form team doesn't really matter when you get into this situation.
True enough,
We've seen it, you know, against Norwich a couple of years ago in the playoff final. You know, we beat them home and away. When it came to the day at Wembley, it was academic. It didn't matter.
It was all over for 20 minutes.
It's about the performance of the day. Well, you know, we know we've got a squad that's capable of beating anybody in the league. As long as we come and perform.
Well, Huddersfield come from nowhere last year.
You're right.
Last game they made the playoffs.
And
then they ended up going.
Then they had Sheffield Wednesday, I think, away in the second leg. Got through that. And that's it, and then won Reading in the final, so it can happen. You don't have to finish 3rd. That guarantees you nothing, does it? Just a question here, Joe Scott. The key to avenge the 3-0 loss at the Riverside against Derby a few months ago, that was one of our worst performances of the season. You think it probably was, wasn't it? It's a fair shout, that.
We've had some...
But we have had some competition for that this season, haven't we?
We've had some stinkers on the road. Went through a spell at Christmas time. I think it was the Gary Monk sacking that spared the club on, I think, 3 away wins. Preston was one of them. Chef Wed was his downfall that game. So we got that bit of momentum going there. But in other games, the Burton Albion was, was one of the low points of the season.
It was dreadful, that match, wasn't it?
It really was.
That point could be crucial at the end of the season, couldn't it? But you came up the ground feeling that was awful.
The Sunderland as well, again.
2 points chucked away.
So again, the 3 teams at the bottom. I think Birmingham as well, 1-1. So.
But I suppose every team that's up there, apart from maybe Wolves and Cardiff, every team will look and say, God, how did we shot points away against that team? That's just the nature of the championship, isn't it? You do throw daft points away.
I think it happens every year, James, doesn't it? You know, again, you know, look at the championship, you know, year in, year out. You know, if you're a betting person, you put a bet on, you think you've got your bankers in there. There are anything but bankers in that division now.
Your coupons can go all over the place in the championship every week, can't they?
It's tough. It really is tough. I mean, predicting results is it's hard work. It really is. Totally unpredictable league. It is.
And then obviously Saturday we're going to come up against an old forward in David Nugent. I mean, he gave good service while he did the job, got us promoted. He scored from on Saturday at Burton.
Yeah.
Fear him. Fear an old player coming back to Waters again,
listen,
Derek.
I think we've seen it many times before, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, hopefully he's not in the starting 11.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've always got that risk, you know, and you're right, you know, the one thing we know Nugent is given an opportunity, he'll score.
Yeah, he'll work his socks off,
know,
won't he? Because he does that.
That's what you get from Nugent.
Yeah.
He ran himself into the ground
Yeah.
for a lost cause. Didn't produce the amount of goals that we thought we'd get out of him, maybe 7 or 8. But he 100% every time.
I know I've asked this on people that have been on the show in the last few weeks. In terms of Gary Monk going and Tony Pulis coming in, do you think that's given us the opportunity to go up this year, or do you think we still would have been maybe in this position if Gary Monk was still in charge? What do you reckon, John?
Well, I was waiting for the real Middlesbrough to turn up.
Under Monk?
Under Monk,
Yeah.
it just seemed that it was, the longer the season was going on, I'm thinking, well, when's it going to... You know, when's it going to happen? The Monk inevitably was a final. The Sheffield Wednesday, the Wednesday game, which we won, and you know the fight. And then Pulis coming in, changed his tactics around, went a bit more direct. So there's been slight improvement under Pulis, but a different style of football altogether. But if Monk would have seen that rough patch out, I still think we would be where we are right now. I don't think we'd have actually put on a late surge and just you know went on a Millwall.
Fulham or a Millwall.
Well, I just think nothing really results wise. I just think it's where we would have been if Monk was still in charge.
Yeah. And Derek, do you think that's then down to the managers, or do you think it's the players have got a lot to?
I think ultimately it's the players on the day, isn't it? Because they're the ones that are out on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately the manager takes the book.
Yeah.
You know, he gets it. Ultimately, he's been accountable.
Yeah.
Performance wise.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, if we go back to the Monk era, I recall the QPR game at home.
Yeah.
You know, we started poorly, but you know, once we got going in that game, you know, there was nothing that would have stopped us.
Yeah.
You know, going forward, we looked at a real threat. You know, and I think any defence in that division would have struggled against us.
Yeah.
You know, we lost our way a little bit.
Yeah.
Pulis come in, different style of football.
Yeah.
Not quite what we expected, I don't think, John. You know, because you know,
there's been goals, hasn't it? Because I think people had to worry about, it's going to be 1-0, it's going to be 0-0, but it hasn't been. There's been plenty of goals.
And I think likewise, it's not been sort of from back to front, bypassing the centre of the park.
No.
John touched on it earlier.
Yeah. Well, maybe you realise that the centre midfield cannot, you know, they don't have that vision. Yeah. You know, to thread you know, a through ball through. So maybe you thought, right, let's go the long ball option. Push comes to shove, you know, you've got the option of Ayala, free kicks, corners, you know, last minute we need equaliser, so get the big men up front.
There's nothing wrong sometimes with going long. I mean, you're talking about Man City won the Premier League, one of their goals on Saturday against Tottenham, ball was straight from the back from the goalkeeper, I think, straight over the top, and your man straight in. There's nothing wrong with a long ball now and again, and I mean, Pulis, he's no fool, you've got to play to your strengths, haven't you?
Listen, you don't win football games in your own half.
No.
You win it in the opposing half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if the ball's in that half of the field, and you've got more opportunity.
Yeah, fair point. So obviously you've got Cameron Jerome, Nugent, Vidra. They're all dangerous strikers. Do you think we'll be able to keep them quiet on Saturday, John?
Again, confidence as well. If at the moment, I think we should be confidence should be sky high. Derbies maybe not, but they're at home.
Going to be backed by noisy crowd there, aren't they? They'll get behind them.
Vidra missed a penalty last week, so that confidence hopefully is going to affect him come Saturday as well, and hopefully keep him quiet. Ayala can put him in his back pocket. Yep. And minimum for me would be a point. Snatch a point.
That wouldn't be a bad result.
Yeah, a great result.
Go with that, Derek.
Good result,
yeah. And Steph Cowan wants to know: do you think we'll make it to the Premier League if we get into the playoffs? Do you think we'll be successful in the playoffs this year? That's a big question, that, isn't it?
It's a huge question. First of all, my daughter was asking the
question.
Is it? So evening, Steph. So listen, I think ideally, the one thing we've got there is an experienced manager who's done it before. He knows what's required if we do go up and get into the Premier League. You know, he'll know the type of funds he requires to keep us there. You know, and the type of player that we need.
Well, have we got a better team on paper than the team that took us up? Similar in a way.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's maybe a little bit weaker, I think. But
this time around,
but I think we've got a better manager, I think, for the Premier League.
Well, I thought we played the 2 seasons ago when we got promoted. I thought we actually played better football. We got better results against the top team. I mean, we were top of the league Christmas time anyway, really. So, but this time around, it's just been disjointed the whole season really. So where we are right now, that's our brand of football has got us to the number 5 position.
Yeah. And that's not bad. I think we'll have to settle for that really. You know, considering the season we've had, I think if we finish in the playoffs, it's not a bad season really, is it? With all the upheaval we've had.
It's the minimum requirement at the beginning of the season was playoffs. So there we go.
And then go again in the summer, whether that be in the Premier League or the Championship. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice one, lads. Remember, Borough fans, subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube and Twitter channels just to be in with a chance of winning 2 season tickets for next season, whether that's in the Premier League or the Championship. There's loads of other goodies to go with that as well, so make sure you do that. Lads, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you on. Keep up the good work, all the support you're doing for everyone on Teesside and everything. Really think it's a great job that you're doing. Well done, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks again for watching, everybody. Until next week, Red and White, you and me.